Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the C-Man, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the C-Man's Cinema Sit-Down. This is a movie that I've been waiting for what feels like forever. My first introduction to anything into this world was New York Comic-Con 2+ years ago, I guess at this point, pre-pandemic, actually in person. There was a panel for this movie, and the cast was there, the director was there, and they showed us what eventually I think ended up being the teaser along with a couple other clips, and everything I saw just made me go, wow, I think this movie's gonna be something special. And I can tell you now that I've seen it, oh, is it that and so much more. This might be like top 3 to 5 movies on the entire year for me. This thing is so freaking good. What am I talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat, we're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into Free Guy. And wow, man, this movie hit for me in a way that I was not expecting it to hit. Like, based on everything that they showed us at Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, back when they had their panel for this a couple years ago, Reynolds was there, Levy was there. I'm pretty sure we had like a video phone-in from Taika Waititi. Jodie Comer, I think, was there, and so was Joe Keery. I'm pretty sure all of them were there in some form or another. And like, you could just tell that this cast had a cohesiveness to it, that had a lot of fun doing this movie, and that they got along in a way where it was like, you could tell just off that the chemistry and probably what they were bringing for the movie was going to be really, really good. And when you heard about Sean Levy just talk about it and where he was coming from and what he was trying to accomplish, like, it seemed like something that was going to pop. And when you have someone like Ryan Reynolds as your lead, you are always going to be, closer to hitting the mark on something that really, really works than missing the mark. Reynolds, I very rarely find that he misses, specifically when he seems to be creatively involved in some way. And while he's not writing or directing, you can feel his presence here, the way that he helped market the movie. You can just tell that he was very connected to this film. And when he is, those are the movies that are special. Something like Deadpool, or something like this, where the thing that I really marvel at with Ryan Reynolds is that he's always himself. In all his movies, he's always Ryan Reynolds. Like, that brand of humor, his delivery. He doesn't, do tons of makeup or, put weight on or off or try to change his look or appearance. Like, he's always himself. And that is a massive plus for him, because if you like that brand of comedy, then you're always pretty much gonna like what Reynolds is doing in a movie. But the thing that makes him special for me is the way that he can just go out there and execute everything that he's asked to do. And when he gets actively involved, and you can tell that there is a legitimate care to what he is doing as far as the movie and the characters and everything that's going on, he disappears into the role. Like, it's one of those things where he is 100% Deadpool. And by the time you get to the end of this movie, he's 100% Guy. And the thing that I love about Guy is very similar to what I love about Ted Lasso. He is just pure good, and that's because he's a non-playable character. If you were not familiar with Free Guy, it is about a video game and a video game company. And inside of this video game is this NPC guy who starts to break away from his coding, and he starts to literally evolve, and he becomes an active player inside the game. And what that ties into, why that happens, it all makes a ton of sense as you watch the movie. And Reynolds just is the glue to everything. I mean, he will make you laugh your ass off, but by the time you get to the end of this thing, he's going to have your heart in a way where, like me, myself, bawling at the end of this movie. And it's not just Reynolds' performance or his comedy or the way that he can, bring his style to a film and make it something special. It's really what writers Matt Lieberman and Zach Penn pull off from the script. Lieberman comes from some animated stuff. I think he's done Scoob. He did The Addams Family. You have Zach Penn, who goes all the way back, into like tons of Marvel stuff, like the original X-Men franchise. He was involved in the second 2 movies. He was involved in the story with Avengers. He wrote Ready Player One. Like, this is a guy who understands the world of comic books and the world of video games. And you bring these two guys together, and what they deliver from a script. And obviously, like I said, you can tell where Reynolds works his magic into that script as well, just with what he's able to do on screen and just what he brings to it. But the thing that I marveled at the whole film is one that Ted Lasso ability of Guy. Like, he's so likable, he's so good, and that goodness just spreads throughout the movie. And like, Guy becomes a very easily to root for character, and all the things that are going on, and just what's like, it makes you feel good when you're watching Guy do stuff. And the biggest thing for me is, while the storyline works, like the idea of a NPC evolving and becoming more, and how that ties into the real world storyline of what's going on with the video game, and specifically Joe Keery and Jodie Comer's characters, along with Taika Waititi. Like, while all of that is working, you get to the end of this thing, and it's like, you're invested, you're enjoying the humor, it's super fun, the energy is great, like that first quarter to first half of the film. And then Taika Waititi shows up, and that was the point where the movie completely shifted gears for me, where all of a sudden you had legitimate stakes. Like, what Taika brings into the movie creates stakes that make you extremely invested. And then you're able to use your main characters, in the real world, Joe Keery and Jodie Comer's characters, and by the time you get to the end, you get this message. It was like watching a love letter to video gamers. And it's crazy, because the video game world is one of the biggest out there, man. Like, the population and the community of video gamers is one of the most successful and thriving populations that we have. However, video gamers still feel like they're put into, like a subculture, and they're still not mainstream. And this movie hits all the things that make video games and why video gamers love video games. Like, it makes all of that stuff lay out in a way where it's like, you can understand what video games mean to those gamers. And the fact that, like, so many people, will put video gamers into, like, oh, you get that stereotype of, like, you live in your mom's basement. And trust me, there is tons of that in the world, and the movie does not shy away from it. However, video games have also been a way for people who maybe are slightly more introverted or shy or socially awkward to be able to find their voices and become, part of a community and not be a loner. And when the movie shifts gears and starts to hit that stuff and hit it like right on the head and really get to the root of what the video gaming community and the video gamers are, wow, man, like, that's when this thing took off to a place where I was like, I didn't see that coming, and how it played into the movie, specifically into Guy's characters and Jodie Comer and Joe Keery's characters. Like, I just sat there in awe. I was like, I've never seen a movie, specifically a video game movie, like, directly speak to the culture in a way that's not just making fun or being satirical towards it. Like, the love letter aspect of this movie was just wonderful, and how that just brings all the characters together. I was weeping at the end of the movie because it hit so close to home for me. And Sean Levy deserves just as much credit as the writers here. What he does from a directing standpoint, man, does he know how to stage some insane video game action sequences. The action in this movie is phenomenal, and the way that he paces it, like I said, is able to use that brand of Reynolds humor, is able to use all of the different, versatile assets and things that this cast brings. Like, really just puts it all on display. Like, you get A+ level stuff from everybody, and I'm sure Sean Levy has a lot to do with that. And he brought the best out of his actors. And like I said, I really loved how he staged the video game world. I loved how he staged the world from Guy's perspective and then from the gamer's perspective. Like, when you put these gamers have glasses on, so when you put the glasses on, you can see everything that the video gamer sees on the on the screen. So the types of missions and all the other things, and how that just works in, and visually how they capture this whole thing. Man, like, just absolutely crushed it. And like I said, on the acting side, I mean, Reynolds is beyond good. Like, this is easily one of, I think, the best things that Reynolds has ever done, and it's because you can tell he's attached to the character. The heart that he brings on top of the humor, like, just balances the character out and allows the movie to take it to all the places that make Guy great, and how he becomes a hero and breaks away from that NPC world, but what he means to that NPC world. Like, man, does he just hit everything. Jodie Comer every time I talk about this woman, I just talk about how special she is. She is so freaking good. And what she does here is just tremendous. You know, like, she is a video gamer. She has this insane connection and chemistry with Ryan Reynolds, but she also has this very close relationship to Joe Keery. And how that all plays out, and as she is, you know, when she's with Reynolds and where she's with Keery, like, the chemistry is insane with both of them. And everything they ask her to do just really works. Like, what she is in the real world as a gamer and the relationships and the things she has going on there, like, really make you connect to the character and understand who she is as a character. However, on the flip side, when you get to see who she is inside the game and how it, you know, exudes confidence that she doesn't necessarily have in herself, how she has a different swagger. Like, that's what I mean. Like, how the world of video games can open the world up for certain people. It was really cool. It was really cool to see Jodie Comer be that character and to get to live through that with her. And, like, again, like, some of the emotional beats definitely hit home the hardest with the performance that Comer gives. And opposite of her, you've got Joe Keery, who absolutely crushes this thing. You know, I'm mostly familiar with Keery only from Stranger Things, and it was cool to see him step out of this world and do something different. And you get a lot of different vibes from Keery that I like, that fit him, but I haven't necessarily seen executed like this. Like, he's, again, someone who's a really good person in general, and where he sits as far as, you know, working for this company that Taika Waititi runs, what his involvement is in the game, and how he, you know, interacts and what his relationship is with Jodie Comer. Like, he just brings a very versatile tool belt of things that he can do, and the movie allows him to do all of it. And I'm telling you, like, by the end of the movie, I was like, damn, like, Joe Keery, you bumped up a few levels for me. Like, he was very, very impressive. And then, as I said, Taika Waititi for me is like the linchpin in this movie. Like, the minute he shows up, one, the comedy soars, and just what he brings as a character actor, like, it just livens up the movie in a brand new way. And what he brings from a threat level, like what he means as an adversary to Guy and to, you know, some of the other characters, it brings some real stakes, and I loved his performance. He's so good. I've been a Taika fan for so long, and to see him get to play, you know, from the acting standpoint without being involved in the creative, you know, it was just enjoyable to watch him work, and you could tell that he had a ton of fun doing the things that he was doing. And look, there's so many people in this movie. Like, I didn't even realize, but, like, as I go through, like, some of, like, the voice talent in this movie, just doing random people. The Rock pops in here, Hugh Jackman pops in here, Krasinski, Chris Evans, all these people just popping in that are friends. Like, this is what Ryan Reynolds brings to the table. And now I'm going to have to go back and be like, let me listen to, like, you know, voice of player, or, you know, masked player in the alley. Like, I need to go back and listen to these things and to see, you know, how they hit. But Channing Tatum has like a legitimate cameo in the movie that was pretty awesome. Like, his whole sequence was great. Lil Rel Howery, who plays Buddy, he is actually Guy's buddy. He's the security guard at the bank that Guy works at in the game. Loved everything he brought, and that relationship and that chemistry is so important to this movie. And this is maybe one of the best things I think I've seen Lil Rel do. Like, he really nailed what he was asked to do, and again, brings some of the emotional weight into the movie. Like, there is a moment that, like, you'll just burst out in, like, you know, just some sort of way, whether you're laughing or smiling or just happy, or, you know, it's getting you emotionally. Like, Howery brings some wonderful elements to this thing, as does I always get his name wrong, it's Utkarsh Ambudkar, who plays Mouser. He is the guy in the bunny costume that you see in the trailers. Fantastic. He brings he plays a very interesting role. I don't really want to give anything away, but what he does throughout the whole movie is perfect for what he's asked to do. Like, he just nails it time and time again. Every time he pops on screen, he's bringing you a little something different. And sometimes, you know, it changes the way you're looking at what's happening in the movie. Like, he's another one of those linchpin side characters. And as the movie unfolds, I really like to see what they did with Mouser. And start to finish for me, this was just a really, really fantastic movie. Like, it's got video game violence in it, but like, this is a movie that you can totally bring your family to. And if you are a video gamer, this movie will hit in a different way. And I just love the fact that Free Guy turned into a love letter to the gaming community when I originally didn't see it doing that. Like, I assumed that it was gonna poke its fun, make its satirical comments, and have a good time. I thought it was going to be action-packed, and it was going to be fun, and it's playing in IMAX, deserves to be on IMAX. It's a big movie. But it also has so much heart, and like I said, that love letter to the gamers, it's just what did it for me. So those are all the thoughts I got, man, and that means it's time for a score. So let's get the C-Maniacs up. I think you guys probably know where I'm going. I mean, the movie made me cry, and made me cry in a good way. Reynolds is phenomenal. The entire cast is, from Comer to Kiri to Taika. The creative team here, I just think, really understands video games and where they sit in the world. They find a really cool way to do some, to weave in some surprises for you throughout the whole thing. There's one thing in particular that I think the pandemic allowed to be created by the end of the movie. There's like a thing that goes on with Reynolds' character that really will pop when you see it, and it's like, that's the stuff that makes this thing so special, from both the humor and just to the community in which it's speaking. And that the kind of love letter that this is got me in a way where Free Guy is going 5 out of 5 C-Maniacs. This is one of the best movies of the year for me. It just does all the things you want a feel-good movie to do. And I wasn't expecting a feel-good movie. I was expecting an action comedy. And it does all that stuff, too. So Free Guy is absolutely excellent. If you're a fan of Ryan Reynolds, this is a must-see. If you're a fan of video games, I think this is a must-see. And if you just like action comedies, it's a must-see movie, So I certainly hope that you guys will go out and enjoy it if you haven't. And if you have, I hope that you'll tell me how much you enjoyed it. And you know how you can do that? By going down below and hitting the comments section, man. Tell me everything you got going on with this. What were you digging? Did this hit you on an emotional level? What did you think of the video game elements? Is this one of the better video game movies that you've ever seen? I think the fascinating thing for video game movies that are working really well lately are ones that aren't strictly adapting real video games, right? Like, this has, some GTA vibes to it and some other games mixed in there, but this is not based on anything. It's just about the culture of the video game world. So is that something that you really like? Is that something that spoke to you? Was the humor good? What did you think of the actors? Where did you land? Anything you got? Good, bad, indifferent. Even if you haven't seen the movie, are you intrigued? Do you want to go see it? Have I hyped you up? I want to know everything you're thinking. Put it down below in the comments section. I look forward to talking to you guys down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the C-Man as we approach anything in the movie, TV, trailer reaction realm. You just like what I'm doing and you want to show a little love and support to the old C-Man, well then come. Join C-Maniac Nation by jumping over there, hitting that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts, and until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down. I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace.
Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.